Hello, welcome to my show. My name's Patrick. I have a little shade here, but I think you can see my face. Lots of things to talk about. I dowsed a while back the relationship between the different agencies in the United States with each other. And for example, there's a conflict of, it's really a conflict. They don't like each other, the NSA and the CIA. And the CIA is turning out to be a really big problem, you know, for the country and for the world. And the question is, can it be reformed? And the tentacles of the CIA are things like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and even Elon Musk. And it's a web. The relationships with other foreign governments is sort of complicated, and it's probably the issue to unwind. Even when you're going forward with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, you find out that the creator, the initiator, which is the intention, comes from the CIA. And when you douse the light of the CIA, it's one of the darkest organizations ever. And I just want to know if there's any light at all in the CIA. I did douse it. I got excuse me, so let's say on my 10-point scale I got it's 1/2, it's 1/2 of 1/10 of 1%. Did you see that? 1/2 of 1/10 of 1% light. It's a little tiny bit of light. It's probably the janitor at night brings in a little light to the CIA. It's extremely dark. And I wanted to say, is there any light into the CIA? Is there any? Is it 100% demonic? Is it 100% demonic? It's kind of telling me there's no light. It said yes. Do you see that? It said yes. And in contrast, the NSA is about 2.5, 3 stars. Well, that's typical for a surveillance operation. It's below the average consciousness of people, yet it's very highly. Could you show me the top of the senior executives, administrators of the NSA? Could you show me their patriotism? And it's like it's way over here. I mean, they have a sense of patriotism. And I never did this for the CIA. Where is the CIA patriotism, if you were going to rank it? The CIA patriotism of the higher senior executive corps. I'm getting 25%. 25% versus like 95 to 100%. And that says a lot. That says the situation. And you can argue that the first coup, when you talk to, I'll just go over to, Vladimir Putin was asked who he thought killed JFK, and he said the Russian intelligence services always said it was the American intelligence services. That's the presidential review put on his desk as president and prime minister of Russia. That's the report he got. The report is that all the evidence points to the American intelligence situation. And it's been going on ever since. And we're going to find out that it's something that is foreign to America. It's attacking America. It formed all these data processing companies to infiltrate our every thought. And when you saw the executives at Google the day after or 2 days after the election of Donald Trump, they were pathetic. They hate America so much, it's just off the charts. And that creation is all CIA. And then you start asking the question, well, who is the CIA? Who formed it? And who are they aligned to? Well, if they're all dark as I'm saying they are, they're aligned to not only Lucifer, but all those black arts. It's really, really bad. And it's going to be the changing of America is when we figure out what we're going to do with them. And I don't know if you can cut off the funding. They have other sources of funding like the drug trade and human trafficking and the wars. They got their fingers in everything. A lot of their top people, for example, you may not believe this, but I'll douse it. Never doused it before. We'll douse it for the first time. Was Woodward and Bernstein a CIA coup against Richard Nixon? All right, that's the question, because I believe they're CIA, and they were really young back then. I'm gonna go yes, no. All right, yes, no, and we're looking right at you. Was Bernstein a CIA op? Yes. Okay, neutral please. Was Woodward a CIA op? Yes. Okay, let's go. How much of that statement is true on 1 through 100 that Bernstein and Woodward were a CIA op to take Richard Nixon out of the White House? It was a coup. See that? Nixon didn't do anything illegal. He wasn't against the country. They were against his policies, the CIA, as they were today against Donald Trump's foreign policy. And Donald Trump's foreign policy is pretty simple. Whatever benefits the working American, period. And we're going to put the working American back into the power seat that they once had. And we're not going to be rich, but we'll have prosperity. We'll have free to explore a lot of spiritual practices that we can't right now, because they're oh, look at those hawks way over there. Oh, they're coming over here. Oh, they're really big. 2 red-tailed hawks. Anyway, so that done, we're going to find out the CIA, and it's really not a good sign just to call it CIA. It's really a big octopus, and the money's coming in from all different directions. It's just, and the oversight is zero. They put a CIA director, and they don't have control. They don't know what to do. The information they give the director is just all fake. It's really out of control, really dark, starting many wars. And retribution, redemption, those aren't, I'm just a human being. That comes from the higher dimensions. And as long as they fight, we're going to have that issue. And then we're getting up to, okay, who is Snowden? Who is, what's the guy in England? I told you he's in really big danger. I'm sorry. What's his name? He's in the Ecuador embassy. Assange. Watch this. Who's for? Give me. I'll just say, does Snowden work for the CIA? Yes, no. Does Snowden work ultimately for the CIA? All right, there's a yes. All right. It's probably simple. How much is he an agent of the CIA? How much is he an agent of the CIA? He's 100%. And as a yes, no, was he sent over to the NSA to discredit the NSA? Was he sent over to the NSA as an agent of the CIA to discredit and undermine? There goes yes. So that's who Snowden was. He's what you call, they have all sorts of expressions, but he went in over there, got a job, and he was a CIA to begin with, and he released all that information to embarrass the NSA. The NSA and the CIA have big time issues, and part of that is the military aspect, the challenge too. The military is behind Trump. All right, we already said that. Could you show me all these questions you already know, so I don't want to go over that stuff. Let's go over to the economy. I want to fast speed it. Just to let you know, I just wanted to touch that NSA CIA, they're huge. They're both doing surveillance. A lot of their jobs they do is redundant of each other, and the CIA is trying to catch up electronically to, doesn't want to depend on the NSA for electronics, and that's what the Snowden thing was about. but now we're coming into this aspect of our evolution. In the next year, it's going to be really awesome what's going to happen. The money, the currency, how our economy works is going to go through fundamental change for the next 2 years, 3 years. I did douse that the economy, we won't recognize about 30 to 35% will be significantly different than it is today. And in 5 years, it's almost 90%. And that is why our traditional unemployment numbers and productivity numbers and M3, which is the amount of circulation of currencies, dollars in the system, and the amount of power the Federal Reserve has. Obviously, the Federal Reserve days are numbered. It's going to be wound down. It's going to be moved over to the Treasury Department. That's happening. The Dowsing shows something like that happening. We're going to move over to a gold type standard currency. So you take out your bill and it's going to say Treasury Department. It won't say Federal Reserve note. It'll say Treasury note. So all that is bringing the power back to the people. And then it's going to keep going. The changes are going to be so, because we're going to be responding to the different energies, how it's changing. So in a way, we're stepping back to the way the system used to be set up, and then we're going to change it. This was like a dead end of the last 80 years. We went down this we were taken over, and for the last 80 years we went down this economy and finance and the way we have our currency is just wrong. We went down a cul-de-sac, we turned around, we're coming back out. So we go back to 1913, things like that, and we're going to start over, and we're going to go down another road. And as we're going down, it won't be a cul-de-sac. We're just going to change and evolve into a higher dimension. The reason I kind of say that and bringing it up now, I was asked in my dream state a couple months ago to write something of this nature. I'm not going to go write a book like 300 pages with 500 footnotes. I mean, I could do that, but I'm not interested in that. So it'll be more of setting up an outline where we're going with all these frequencies and energies. What can we expect of corporations? What are they going to look like? What are people? How are we going to work? How are we going to work? What kind of work will there be? And the work is going to change. Just showing you that in a couple of years we're going to change 35% in the economy for 2 years. And then if I go to 5 years, it's like 80%, 90% difference. You're not going to recognize it at all. The changes will be so drastic, so drastic. So I know the bridge is going to be, the book is going to be like a bridge. And I'll try to write it next month. I got to get disciplined to do it. And I'll think I'll do it. And it kind of told me I have to get it published in England. I don't know why. I do know why. The English are more open to dowsing, to looking at frequencies, to find water, to find ancient ruins underground, to find treasure, to find history. It was really good at looking at history. We found Camelot, things like that. So knowing our history and using dowsing to measure, in particular, the really jewels in today's economy. So we're looking at, and this is kind of a premise I'm going to go for the book. We'll see where it takes me, because when you start writing, somebody else takes over. The higher dimensions take over. But by measuring the jewels in today's economy, we can find out what's going to be in tomorrow's economy, and not far down the road. All this is very soon. All this is soon. So I want to know, that's not important. I'm going through the important things. The important things are about our lives, not to get sucked into this media, Hollywood, all that sewer. it's a sewer. So the least amount of time you spend, yes, you're going to watch a couple movies and turn on some TV programs once in a while, but it's there, that energy cannot be sustained. And we're going to go into a new economy, and I just want to touch upon one thing real quick. Okay, could you show me the 1960 dollar John F. Kennedy? Now, John F. Kennedy made a treasury note. He made about $800 million of treasury currency that competed with the Federal Reserve currency. You see how John F. Kennedy got killed? What was he thinking? But anyway, he ordered this, and I think it was about 800 million. Let's go to 1, please. Could you go to 1? Thank you. Now, we're at 1. Do you see this? Here's 1. Okay, could you show me the vibration of Kennedy's currency, 1960 Treasury Reserve note? It was a 5. Okay, do you see that? More. Excuse me. Okay, that was a 6. God, it's really high. It's a really high currency, and it was called a U.S. Treasury note. Okay, really, really high. Could you show me today's dollar bill, Federal Reserve, today's dollar currency? What is the frequency of $1 today? What is the frequency of... Okay, so this is not exact, but it's roughly a 0 to 1. Maybe 1.5. It's about a 1. Okay, could you show me, because I'm getting at something here. Okay, let's go to 5. There's 5. Could you show me the Chinese currency today with the picture of Mao Zedong on the cover? Okay, it's a 0. So these currencies have been altered. And be quiet. I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a minute. These currencies have been changed. Now, I think the U.S. currency today it's about a 1.5 to 2, I think. It might be a 2. Let me just double check. Is it a 2? Yes, no? No. Okay. Is it 1.5? Yes. If you put Tubbard on it, where would it go, please? So look at that. It goes to 0. So what they were going to do, the African American lady, her name was, she was Tubbard. She was an Underground Railroad, and she helped a handful of people. They were going to use that opportunity as a smokescreen to slide in a worthless currency of the lowest domination. It has nothing to do with her, but you just saw me. What I measured was when they put her on the currency, I think at the 20, get rid of Andrew Jackson. It had nothing to do with her. They were going to redo the whole thing, and they were going to do the whole system to make it even darker, super dark, satanic dark. And have you mentioned? I don't think Trump has even. No one's mentioned the new currencies. It's all frozen. I haven't heard a word. Have you? Because it was they're going to put black magic on that currency. Now this currency we have today has black magic on it, but they're going to even make it more dark, more worthless. They were going to dilute the dollar again. So we went from John F. Kennedy Treasury note, and he was eliminated, down to 1.5 for today's currency, and then if you put Tubbard on it, we were going down to a 0. Now it does, again, I want to emphasize it has nothing to do with her. It had to do, they're just ratcheting down the frequency, dilution of the dollar on the world stage. Everything Trump is doing is to bring the dollar back in strength. And when you see people attack his trade policy, what are they saying? They want to say, we want to continue the trade policy to dilute the American people's strength, to dilute the dollar, because all the dollars are going overseas. They're going to continue this system. They don't offer an alternative, because their alternative is to continue giving China $500 billion a year. You can't do that. And when I douse it, I think I only get a couple years max. You can continue it until the whole system, and it's in danger right now. So they're trying to change the system as quick as possible to make sure if there is a crash, it's not totality. We're trying to get as much manufacturing back in the country as you can. And as you can see, this is a mini faceted front, but all the money that was stolen, a lot of it's going to be repatriated back to the American people, back to the U.S. Treasury Department, back to the country and the people. We're a rich country. We can pay for it. You want health care, we can pay for it, but not the way the system is now. They just put all the onus on the average person, and we have wealth to pay for many things, and they stole. There's digital money, and it's in the trillions. It's really amazing, and it's just trying to repatriate it. Most of you heard and read all the different theories, but at the end of the day, there's only so much land. There's only so much land. That's the finite wealth. It's in the land, and I think that's why you're going to see most of the wealth going back towards gold and silver. And when I dowse it, could you show me show me 0? Okay, that's the price of gold today. No, let's do a different one. Let's do this one. Excuse me. Let's go to this one. Over here is positive growth. Over here is negative. Show me the price of gold in 1 year, please. Price of gold. Okay, that's about 25%. 2 years, 2 years, 2 years, please. It's going up a lot. Yeah, it's like 100%. And when I do it this way, go from 1 through 100, I get up to like 5-8%. It's going to be really big, a big movement in gold. It's all back to basics, back to basics, back to basic economics principle, not voodoo budgets in the U.S. government. And oh, I had another idea before I go. So you know that. And then silver was going to go up as well. I know there's a lot of silver fanatics out there saying, oh, silver is so under. Gold is going to do better than silver, but silver is going to do well. But I have it gold doing much, much better. The problem with physical gold and all these physical things is you have to, well, if you want to use it, you have to convert it. And, you know, does anybody want to buy your gold in 3 years? What is the economy going to be like? But for a currency, it's going to be very good. When they put gold certificate on the top, it's going to be dynamite. And the bad side is we might have like a built-in super inflation. So price of, I don't want to go into that. It's one of these painful things we might have to go through just to destabilize everything. And then all the visiting workers and stuff, they're going to go back home. They're going to be repatriated back home. And it's taking a little longer. I can see it's taking longer than anticipated. And then I wanted to, I'll do more of this, but I went and measured who runs the United States. Who do you think runs it? Who's the most powerful American and or institution in the United States? All right? Okay, that's it. Time's up. You don't win anything. So let's just do this. I'm going to rate it by stars. And I'm going to ask my superconscious, which is connected to Christ's light and the universe. We're plugging in. Just visualize me plugging in, and we're going to see America as the heavens see us. And we're going to ask, who is the most powerful being here? Okay, let's go. Vice President Pence. He gets, I would make him 2%. Or 2 stars. Okay, we're doing stars. So let's call him, we'll give him like a rating, a rank. His rank is 1 star, up to 10 stars. Okay, what about Congress? Congress is pretty powerful, 5.5, 6 stars. How about CIA? CIA. Right now, the CIA is, we'll call it 4 stars. NSA, nothing. NSA has 1 star. But don't forget, the NSA is underneath the Department of Defense. Could you show me the Department of Defense? The Pentagon, their power in America today. And it's about 6. So, maybe even more, 6.5 stars. So Trump is being backed by an institution that is 6.5 stars. And the CIA is down here all by itself. It's not all that powerful. It's not running the show. Who runs the show? So your next thing is, okay, show me the president first. Show me the president of the United States, please. Okay, it's 5. Oh, excuse me. He's 5. So the White House, the executive branch, is 5 stars. That's his rank of being able to influence. You know, it's like he's a colonel or whatever. He's just 5. And that's powerful, but I'm going to jump to the lead. Let's go to the Federal Reserve, please. Could you show me the Federal Reserve? I don't think it's going to move. The Federal Reserve is a 5. Here's a part that's really interesting. Can you see it? There we go. You're not seeing it. Okay, could you show me the Treasury Department? There it is. So the Treasury Department is 7.5 stars. Could you show me the Federal Reserve, please? Again, for the audience, could you show the Federal Reserve? Okay, the Federal Reserve. Okay. It's going to be a 5. What was the Federal Reserve 20 years ago? 20 years ago. What was the rank of the Federal Reserve for power? It was like 9.5. So the Federal Reserve has lost power these recent years. We haven't been able to see it. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but slowly it's been chipping away and it's moving back over to the Treasury Department. This is critical to get back to real money and a real economy. If we get back to real money, real economy, people will not starve to death. They will starve to death if this system continues. That's the big difference. And okay, let's just do this quickly. Give me Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs. 10. So there's our problem. It's almost as if the CIA reports to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is almost running the show. Now, I have to use the pendulum and things and I can narrow it down, but I have a feeling there's someone else over the Goldman Sachs or in it. A being, an entity. Goldman Sachs is just an unusual company. It's really a part of the government, but this is saying it's actually the government. The Dowsing is saying the political economic power is in Goldman Sachs. And that these other institutions, their energy is increasing. Did you see the Treasury Department? Well, it's going towards, it's increasing its power towards Goldman Sachs. It's going to be there someday. Let's ask that real quick. Will the Treasury Department equal or surpass Goldman Sachs in power in the next 2 years? Okay, how about the next 12 months? No. So it's not in 12 months, but within 24 months. The Treasury Department will keep increasing its power. Isn't that wild? The Treasury Department almost has more, it does have more power, real power, looking up in heavens, looking down. They're saying, oh, the president doesn't have, he has power, but he doesn't have as much as the Treasury Department. You start playing that. Isn't that interesting? And the CIA is not as strong as they think they are. See, the CIA, their power comes from being probably run by this Goldman Sachs. Yes, no. Does Goldman Sachs run the CIA? How much of that statement is true? Let's do a different chart. How much is that true? Goldman Sachs runs the CIA. It's not, oh, it's about 70%. So, you know, it kind of puts a picture together. They have big influence on it, and the epicenter of our spoked wheel is Goldman Sachs. I bet you I can find out it's probably an off-planet being in the basement of Goldman Sachs, you know, some lizard. And then we get to the city-states, Washington, D.C., the City of London, and the Vatican. And anyway, we can go on and on. I just wanted to show you how important it is. We're going to change the currency to a higher frequency, back to what it was in 1960. Once we do that, we're gonna transmute into something else, basically a different economy. So all our economic theory, Marxism, capitalism, is kind of, you know, that was a time for the 3D vibration, and as we approach and go deeper and deeper towards the fourth vibration, we're going to have other ideas, and I guess I'm going to be writing about some of that, how we work and relate to each other in working relationships. I think our relationships and families and things, how the family evolve will be different, and everything, but it's going to be more positive. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I was just kind of going on things I'm trying to pull together, and we'll go from there. It's really an exciting time. I've been following Q, and it's just a bare knuckle fight. The Democrats, they're not the Democrats, let's call them the Marxists Leninists in Congress, and they're in both parties, Democrats and Republicans. They're going to just lie, and lie, but every lie takes away from their power. Their power is going down, and they're just going to fall over. This is my last thing. I have a lot of dowsing I don't show. I'm just curious myself. I thought one was interesting. If there is an election in 2020, and there's a Democratic nomination, I went through like 15 Democrats, and they all got, like Kamala Harris, she's like 3% chance. Who else? Schumer, 1%. All of them. Hillary Clinton is 1%. And then I came across a name, and it got 95%. I should just turn off the video now and say, okay, I'll tell you later. You have to come back. But the person who got 90%, 95% is, I think his name is Howard Schultz. He's the president of Starbucks. He'll get it if he wants it. And that kind of makes sense. The Democrats went out and found their own billionaire, communist businessman who made it on his own, and they'll use him. But he won't get the presidency. If Trump is running, Trump will win the nomination and he'll run the presidency. So there's a lot of things that this whole year coming up is going to really show more what's going to unfold. It could be very, very dramatic, the change. And sometimes these elections, they're going to take a back seat to the changes. And I think it's going to be so big, whoever the Republican nominee is, and I think it's going to be either Trump or his daughter, Ivanka. That's kind of like where we're at. So it's up to Trump whether he wants to run. I don't think he 100% knows. It depends how the story unfolds. His company is taking a beating when he's gone. I mean, he's really lost a lot of business and value, and that he knew that was going to happen. And I don't know if the military has promised, to reimburse him, but that's kind of there. So as this years go, we're going to see all these changes, and you're going to see things like gold moving up, and NFL getting weaker and weaker. We said that a couple years ago in the NFL. They're going to have another weak season. I can't believe someone kneeled. I can't believe Kaepernick. But, the president of Nike is a very dark person. He's like Podesta. He has all these weird paintings he's into. And he's obviously anti-Christian, anti-American. I mean, he wants to destroy this culture. And he's Nike. And he's just like a very dark man. And he went out and got... This is like their last hurrah. So it's interesting, the owners of the NFL football teams don't have the power to stop this. They don't have the power to stop the kneeling, the anti-American rhetoric coming from, how does Black Lives Matter usurp the narrative for the NFL. That's over the owners of the game and most of the players. They're not even part of the discussion. It's this foreign ideology, and by Nike bringing in Kaepernick, they're keeping the whole thing alive. This attack on the flag and American history, American culture, and we talked about that before. So, you know, they're going to continue to do this, but they're going to get weaker and weaker. As I said, everybody at CNN will be gone. I forget what I said that. 18 months. In about a year, it's about half, I think I said, of the personnel on camera. They're going to be gone. Because that's not news getting on there calling everybody racist. That's not helping us go forward. You're racist, you're a pig, you're a thief, I don't know, you're treason. I'm running out of stuff. So those people are all gone. They were paid placemen just like Obama. He was paid actor. He did his job. And we're going to move on and watch everybody run. But keep your eye open for Schultz. He's going to be doing the best. And he's probably going to articulate himself as a moderate. You know, move back. Because after this election coming up in midterm, they're going to move back what's left. I mean, the Marxists, the extreme Marxists, they're just attacking everyone. I don't get their philosophy. They actually think they're going to win. They actually think they're going to win. Finally, is the military going to move against Goldman Sachs? I never did this one before, but it just came to me. Is the military, United States military, are they going to move and take over Goldman Sachs? It's saying yes. The words might have a different, you know, take over legally, take over by force, I'm not sure. But I think Trump being run by the military or protected by the military, I think they're going to move against Goldman Sachs. I think everybody realized that's probably the heart of the matter. And I have to explore if there's probably an entity. When I look at the crown of England, the Queen only has 10% power in the crown. Only 10%. Who's the other 90%? Who's the other 90%? It's probably an off-world entity of something. It's something in black magic ceremony. I don't know. I mean, it's like there's this thing. And Goldman Sachs has this thing. So this is like part of the spiritual issues we have to deal with, you know, because the new science is going to be different. Physics is going to be different. We're going to be in new math. The way of seeing things, it's all going to evolve. It's all going to be different. And it's going to be hard and liberating at the same time. Okay, I didn't mean to rant, but I think, you know, you kind of go grab the topics and it makes sense for the whole picture what we're living in. So don't get emotionally attached to what's going on. All right? That's really important. You want to keep your strength up, you want to keep your frequency and energy up, and we're going to move forward. Try not to worry too much, you know, and we'll go from there. All right, bye-bye.